Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Nick
I'm Jackson.
I'm Tyler.
from Top Notch Sports, and today we're going to be discussing the Green Bay Packers. Last week, we talked about whether or not this team was heading in the right direction and can they win the division or make the playoffs. This week, following the loss to Atlanta, we're going to discuss what happened in that game, how's it looking going forward in this upcoming week's game. So, before we do anything, we got a Green Bay Packers expert on with us today. Okay, Tyler, you're here. So I'm going to kick it off to Tyler. What did you see last game? What do you think about this team? What's your opinion on the division? I'm going to let you kind of discuss and kind of rebut or agree with what our last video was, whether or not we think they can win the division and so on and so forth. So what do you think, Tyler, being a Packers expert here?
Yeah, it was definitely a heart or sort of a gut wrenching loss. I'm not going to say quite heartbreaking because it's earlier in the year and we were already down a lot of starters. Christian Watson, unfortunately, out. Aaron Jones, out. David Bakhtiari, out, which really hurt. And all of their absences were felt strongly in this game. And even though we only lost by one, it does still hurt because we did have a 12-point lead in the fourth quarter, and the whole team basically fell apart. Like, I know every Packers fan wants to blame Joe Barry, and trust me, I don't fully disagree with that, but the offense didn't get anything going in the fourth quarter, and the defense couldn't stop anything in the fourth quarter, which ultimately led us to losing by a measly 1 point. But there was a lot of positives. Jordan Love had another 3-touchdown performance game. And overall, the defense played well for, well, the first half of the game, they played really well. Second half was, well, really, I should say it was good for 3 quarters. In that fourth quarter, it just completely went off the rails and shit hit the fan, unfortunately. But again, it is one game. We're 1-1, better than 0-2, and we were able to snatch one of the games on the road, which is ultimately what we wanted. It would have been nice if we got both two, but hey, you got one, and simple, you got to deal with it. And I just hope we can learn from our mistakes this game that will ultimately, hopefully, be cleaned up against New Orleans, who looks pretty good through 2 games. They're 2-0. They'll be heading to Lambeau for Jordan Love's home debut. So, and the run defense has to get better too. Bijan Robinson, I know he's really good. Trust me, he's a complete monster. But he absolutely carved and sliced and diced our defense like it was Swiss cheese. And it's been a problem in Green Bay for years, and it really got bad when Lucas Van Ness unfortunately got hurt. So I think that really opened up the Falcons' running game a lot, and they took advantage, and hey, they capitalized. And congrats to them. They actually look to be a solid team this year, and surprisingly, the NFC South as a whole actually looks good because remember, almost everyone was crowning this as the worst division in football. That might go to the NFC North now. But overall, I still, while it is a bummer, it is week 2. We still have a long season to go. And while it is a sour taste in my mouth, overall, we just gotta, you know what? We gotta have all eyes focused on New Orleans and simply move on.
I agree. No, I 100% agree. I mean, look, New Orleans is a tough game. It's going to be a tough one, as you mentioned. That defense is potent. But my thing is that the Atlanta Falcons are nothing to be, to joke around about either. Like you said, really good run game. Arthur Smith playing to the run. And ultimately, Jordan Love looked decent again. I think he's making strides going forward. I don't know what happened. They were up by 12. I watched the game. It was like, I honestly, I can't tell you what happened. It was just like you were up 12, and I was like, I had money on the Packers winning. They were the underdogs in this one going into it. I was like, they're not the underdogs. And next thing you know, they lose. I'm like, damn, like, I don't even know. I watched the full game. I saw it all happen before my eyes. I can't put a finger on what actually happened for them to lose. Jackson, what do you think? I mean, anything about that game or looking forward? What do you think about this Packers team?
Look, this Packers team again. I think they're really solid in the end. Like I said last week, I said I think they can win the division. It all is going to go go back to there's two things. I think it's going to be the quarterback, which holds his team or excels them. And I think it's also, like you said, Tyler, the run defense. Your run defense allowed 4.6 yards per carry and 45 total carries, which is not great. So you got to improve on that. And Lucas Van Ness getting hurt towards the end of that game obviously did not help. I wasn't able to catch much of this game, unfortunately. But what I do like to see is with the absence of Christian Watson, I like that you guys were getting the rookie receivers, Dontavian Wicks and Jaden Reed involved. They both had touchdowns. I believe Reed had 2 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken, which I think is a really good sign that you guys can, Christian Watson's not available or maybe he's getting shut down. You guys got other options. And you didn't have Aaron Jones in this game as well. So I think once the Packers are able to get him back again, it's going to help out the offense a ton. Aaron Jones is a weapon in the passing game as well as the run game as well. Overall, look, the Packers are fine. It's one game, lost by 1. Like you said, Nick, the Falcons are no slob, and we're seeing that through the first 2 weeks of the season. Arthur Smith runs the ball well. If the Packers' run defense can just get a little bit better, I think this team's pretty freaking good.
I like to hop in there real fast. Arthur Smith is not necessarily running the ball. He's calling the runs. Because if he did, I don't think he would get too far. I got to just throw that in there. Arthur Smith, man, I'll tell you something. I don't think he can run, but he's calling a lot.
He can call the run pretty well.
Yes. Now, I'll say this, okay?
180. 180, set.
As you mentioned, okay, with Christian Watson, the guy everyone wanted to be like, oh, this is going to be the biggest weapon of the year for the Green Bay Packers. We're seeing a lot of young guys step up. And if you're a Packers fan, you got to be excited. Luke Musgrave, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Romeo Doubs. Oh, my, yeah, Christian Watson. You got A.J. Dillon. You got Aaron Jones. Aaron who? Maybe it's too early. I'm sorry. But no, honestly, look, I love Aaron Rodgers. I love Aaron Rodgers. Please. But I'm just saying that this is the best core the Packers have had. I think you can argue almost ever. I mean, it's the youngest core I've seen. And then you got old guys like David Bakhtiari, right? Locking down that offense. Like, I'm loving this team. On paper, Matt LaFleur, and this team can really build something nice for years to come. And when you want to talk about dynasties, this is how you do it properly. And they build up Jordan Love. Everyone hated on the Jordan Love pick. I don't want to be nasty here, but Jackson, Mike, he hated that pick. I don't know what happened. He gave it a D-. You can go back and look at the draft grade. And I gave it a decent grade. Jordan Love's my 3rd ranked quarterback coming out of that year's draft class. And you're going to see it pan out now. Now, everyone's saying, 3 touchdowns. That's great. Yeah, he's throwing touchdowns. But I don't look at the stats. He's just playing pretty damn good. He's playing good. And I remember saying he had some similarity to Mahomes, and you see it sometimes. I'm not saying he's Mahomes. I'm saying his sidearm, his no looks, his ability to throw the ball. You see similarities to Mahomes' style of game. He's not Mahomes, Jackson. I know you're a Chiefs fan, but I'm saying there is reminiscences of Mahomes when you're looking at Jordan Love. All right, that's that. Looking forward, okay? They do got the Saints, and I'm a big Saints guy right now. I don't know if they beat the Saints, but I think they can battle. I'm not going against the Packers here. I'm not going to bet on the Saints. I bet on the Saints the last 2 weeks. I'm not betting on them against Green Bay. Then they go to, they're playing Detroit. They're playing Las Vegas. That's definitely a win in my opinion. I honestly do believe. I don't think that's a question. I really don't. Denver will be tough. Minnesota will be tough. The Rams are actually tougher than most of us were expecting. So this is a tough schedule. It is tough for this young team. But I'm telling you now, if they can scratch a few of these out, they're going to be looking all right. Jackson, anything else you want to add on that? I mean, looking forward, I mean, it's a tough schedule.
Looking forward just next week to the Saints game. The Saints are going to be, down two running backs around Kamara from the suspension. They could be potentially down Jamal Williams. Don't know. It's still early, but don't know. That could happen. Looking back to this game against the Falcons, where did they kind of lose defensively? It was against the run. So this could be a game where the run defense gets back on the right track, which I will be looking forward to watch for sure. It looks like potentially the lead back for the Saints could be Taysom Hill. So
yeah,
you shouldn't have a tough time stopping him, but you never know. But looking forward, I think it's a tough schedule. You got a tough game against the Saints, and then you got the Lions after that. So you got these two games at home. So big games, take them, and you're in first place. So
yeah.
Significantly.
I feel like the last game, that Falcons game, was a must-win for them in the sense of they have a tough schedule, and I had them going 9-8, and I had them starting off 2-0. I feel like that's a little stretch. It's gonna be tough. They got to steal one of these. Tyler, you had this team going 8-1 in their preseason luck. Do you still feel like that's about right?
Yes, I still feel pretty strongly about that. I believe this team is going to be in a lot of one-score games. I do believe that. Honestly, it could be around as many as what the Minnesota Vikings were last year. I don't think we'll be as lucky as they were last year when they went a whopping 11-0, which was the best in NFL history. But if we can go, if let's just say hypothetically, we're in 11 one-score games and we go 6-5 in those one-score games, then all right, I'm happy. And then the few other non-one-score games we break even. All right, at least you have a shot to get to 9-8, and hell, 9-8 might make the playoffs, especially since the NFC North, let's just say, did not have a good week. They literally every team lost. So this division is still very up for grabs, and I do think it is going to be a tight race up until week 18 of the season. And again, this team's very young. This is the youngest roster since the 2017 Cleveland Browns. Fortunately, we are nowhere near as bad as that team was. Yikes. But this is still a very young team. I expect a lot of trial and error, so to speak. And hopefully they can clean up the mistakes they've made early in the year, with some of the, especially the, not turnovers, but the sloppy play from last week, especially in the passing game. Because I feel like under 10 yards, when we're getting 1 to 9 yards, we're fine. But getting 10 plus yards in the passing game has been a struggle. So it's kind of up to Jordan Love to fix that. I saw a statistic. He was 7 of 19 on passes, 10 plus yards. So he needs to be much more accurate, but it's still early. So there's still time. It's only his third game as a starter. And, I expect there's going to be the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And if he becomes like Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff level, hey, I'm happy. And I mean, that's in the modern NFL, that's franchise caliber quarterback material. And it would be lucky because obviously we got lucky with Favre. We got even more lucky with Aaron Rodgers. And while if Jordan Love becomes one of the three quarterbacks I said, I know that's still considered a massive downgrade. That's still a quarterback you can build around for 10 plus years if you can build around him properly.
Absolutely. And I think we saw a really good start already with the receivers and the weapons you've been able to surround him with. I believe that's all from us right now. Again, I mean, hey, if they can squeeze out a few games, 9-8 is definitely possible. Who knows? Maybe they can go 10-7. I mean, anything's possible. They got to win some of these tough games. That's all from us. We'll see you guys soon. Peace. We are
Built Better.
Yes, soon. Peace.
Built Better, baby.